Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly and maintenance for you on this little guy. This is the CRKT Shizuka Noh Ken. That's the name, I gather. And this is an interesting knife. I want to thank very much my buddy Chuck for sending this guy along. Very curious to see how this guy's put together. Yeah, so let's go ahead and pop this guy open. Remove the pivot first. Okay, there is a washer outside the pivot, which probably means that the pivot screw is too long. So I need to remember to put that back in there. Now, I remove these 3 screws in the back here. These are not thread locked whatsoever, which is probably good. There we go. Pop this out. Come on. Here we go. And here we go. I'm thinking I don't need to remove the clip here, although it is actually worth noting that this clip appears to be ambidextrous. Looks like I could flip this around and it would work just as well. That's always a nice little detail. These backstrap mounted clips tend to be nice. Not only do they support deep carry, but they tend to support ambidextrosity and whatnot. So yeah. All right. So what is a left-handed person's favorite kind of sugar? Ambidextrose? Okay, sorry. All right. Technically, they're not ambidextrous. They're left-handed. Okay, it wasn't a good joke. Don't freaking judge me. Moving along. This is just not really wanting to come loose here, and I'm wondering why that is. I think it may just be this stop pin here is kind of wedged into position. There we go. Finally. Just needed a little pry, and I'm using a, by the way, this is the Rat Bastard Enigma Pocket Probe. That is actually the term. It appears that Frankie and Bird is texting. Okay. So, let's see here. Immediately, we had a phosphor bronze washer on one side and a Teflon washer on the other side, which makes sense. And then we have this little system, which is the LAWKS thing, and that has a washer through either side of it as well. Those are both phosphor bronze. Okay. We're just going to pretend that this makes sense here. Then go on ahead and do some cleaning. I'm going to use a rubbing alcohol here. This is 91% isopropyl that I'm spilling all over my table because I am hashtag not a brilliant man. And there we go. This is a knife where I kind of very strongly suspect I'm missing the point. Weird. Whatever this material is, whatever this coating is, that is kind of hydrophobic, which is interesting. But anyways, I kind of suspect that this is like a crazy Ow, son of a... Hey, turns out I have a little cut on my finger and it doesn't love rubbing alcohol. Awesome. Anyways, I kind of suspect this is like a crazy self-defense-y sort of knife, just based on the looks of it overall. It looks high speed and low drag, which is fine, but I'm about to miss the point of it then. But that's life, alas. I often get criticism, and frankly rightful criticism, that, you know, especially with tactical and self-defense-oriented gear, I miss the point entirely, and that's true. At some level, I often do. And, you know, at some level, I feel slightly bad for it. But at the other side, at least I'm consistent. And, you know, the thing is, self-defense is a real thing, absolutely. And it's something that, you know, may you not have to think about, but that a lot of people do have to think about on a regular basis. Whether they have just lived lives with unfortunate circumstances requiring that, whether they're from an area that is particularly dangerous, maybe they're law enforcement or something like that. But either way, for those folks, you know, that's something you have to think about. But for me, and I think for a lot of my viewers, that's not something that is of utmost cruciality. And so as a result, well, I end up not really seeing that side of things. And so a knife that is very heavily skewed towards that, above all else, winds up not getting a great review from me because for the life that I live, it really isn't a great choice. But at some level, I struggle to apologize there because, well, that means that for other people who see the world in my way, that will make it not a great choice. The fact that it is great if you are in the field operating operationally in a high-speed, low-drag manner, well, that's useful, but I'm not the person to tell you that. So I've got a D-shaped pivot here that is giving me a little bit of a fit. Just trying to get it into position here. There we go. Freaking finally. Then I have to get the LAWKS thing back into position. By the way, this gives us a way to look at the LAWKS system. It's more transparent on this guy, but basically it has this little, see this little tab here that comes out and prevents the lock bar from going all the way over. It's a little thing. CRKT does it on occasion. I actually find this implementation less annoying than most because it's pretty easy to ignore. It's pretty low down there. You know, you don't find yourself accidentally hitting it. It's ergonomically okay to have it there. So it is what it is. But, yeah, that's what that is. Watch, I'll do more research and find out this was designed for, like, Japanese wood carving, and all my discussion of self-defense just makes me even more of a jackass than usual. Who knows? Oh, I forgot to lube the detent ball path. So, because I am feeling a little bit lazy, I'll just lube the detent ball itself. With this coating, whatever it is, it may be a low-friction sort of thing, and so, you know, that may not be as big of an issue anyways. But okay, so that's popped on. Stop pin is in place. Am I forgetting anything? No, not at the moment. So let's go ahead and put this guy back together. Okay. Loctite, blue Loctite, as usual. Go ahead and use my T6 driver here. Put a little Loctite on there. A little bit of love. Loctite love. Very possessive sort of thread locking love, really. Okay, let's put this guy here. Beautiful. Come on. There we go. And let's go ahead and put this last pivot, scale screw that is, into this. Half phosphor bronze, half Teflon. And the other thing is, it's not even the side I'd expect to be Teflon. Maybe they just didn't have PB in the size that they needed for that. I don't know. But either way, that was just, that's weird. Doesn't make much sense to me. But then again, large parts of this knife don't make much sense to me. For instance, the blade shape. What the heck? All right. Get the LAWKS thing out of the way. Disengage the lock bar. This should let me pull everything into position here. Okay, this is currently too tight. I gotta say, in terms of build quality, this isn't really half bad. Particularly for a CRKT. No play. Yeah. Verify that the LAWKS thing works. So if we move this lever, there we go. This slides into position. Prevents me from unlocking the knife, which is good. I'm going to see if I can give this a little bit less tightness without getting any blade play. No, that put play into it. Unfortunately, it was a little too tight from the factory. There we go, no play. You know, that's okay. No play. It's a little better than it started. It's good. But all right, there you go. Hopefully this was interesting to you. Pretty straightforward overall, aside from the whole half Teflon, half otherwise thing, and the washer in there, which was probably just the pivot was too long or something like that. Anyways, hope this is interesting, and have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.